Apple just dropped an official invite for a special Apple experience on March 4th, 2026 at 9 a.m. Eastern. And the internet has instantly exploded with leaks and wild predictions. New Macs, new iPads, a budget iPhone 17e, brand new chips, even Google Gemini powered Siri updates and iOS 26.4. It's all being thrown around like it's guaranteed. But here's the thing. A lot of these iPhone 17es and M5 MacBook leaks are being taken way too literally. In this video, I want to push back against the hype a bit and break down what Apple has actually announced, what the leaks are claiming, and why you should be careful before assuming March 4th is going to be a mega hardware dump. If you're trying to decide whether to wait for this Apple March 4th event or upgrade now, this is the kind of realistic breakdown you need. So let's talk about what Apple really might be planning for this special Apple experience. Why this branding matters, and where the current leaks about the new MacBook Air M5, A18 Pro MacBook, iPhone 17e, A18 iPad, and M4 iPad Air might be stretching things. First, let's start with the event itself. Apple has invited press to an in-person, special Apple experience on March 4th in New York City at 9 a.m. Eastern. At the same time, they're reportedly holding separate press gatherings in Shanghai and London. That alone is interesting because it doesn't sound like Apple's usual big, polished broadcast keynote out of Cupertino. Notice the wording. Apple isn't calling this a special event focused on a single product category. And they're not using the typical Apple event branding we're used to seeing for major iPhone or Mac launches. They're calling it a special Apple experience. That word, experience, is doing a lot of heavy lifting. It suggests hands-on demos, curated product zones, and maybe deep dives into specific features, not necessarily a giant stage show with half the year's entire product roadmap dumped at once. And that's the first place I think the leaks are getting ahead of themselves. Right now, the rumor mill, including reports summarized by Mark Gurman at Bloomberg, is throwing out a pretty packed list of coming soon products. A new low-cost MacBook powered by an A18 Pro chip, a new MacBook Air with an M5 chip, new M5 Pro and M5 Max MacBook Pro models, new external Mac displays, a new iPhone 17e, a new base iPad with an A18 chip, a new M4 iPad Air. On top of that, Apple is expected to roll out the first beta of iOS 26.4 with at least some new Siri features powered by Google Gemini. That's a huge amount of change in a short time frame. The mistake people are making is assuming that coming soon means all launching on March 4th. Apple does not work like that. Historically, Apple staggers major releases to keep each product line in the spotlight, to avoid confusing buyers, and to control supply chains. So while these devices might all be in development, and some may be close, that doesn't automatically mean the March 4th Apple experience is where they'll all appear. Let's go category by category, and Sandy, check these leaks. First up, the Mac side, the A18 Pro MacBook, the M5 MacBook Air, and the M5 Pro M5 Max MacBook Pro models, plus new Mac displays. The idea of a low-cost MacBook running an A8 Pro chip is interesting, but also a little suspicious. Apple only just got users and developers aligned around Apple Silicon with the M series chips. Introducing an A series MacBook now, especially branded as low cost, could create confusion between iPad Pro, base iPad, and MacBook lines. Could Apple experiment with an A18 Pro MacBook? Sure, but is this the kind of product you quietly slip into a special experience event alongside a dozen other things? That feels unlikely. Apple would have clearly explained why an A18 Pro MacBook exists, who it's for, and how it fits. Next to M series Macs, that sounds like a more focused launch, not something lost in a crowded product dump. Then you have the rumored M5 MacBook Air and new M5 Pro and M5 Max MacBook Pro laptops. Again, on paper, that sounds like a straightforward generation bump. M5 replaces M4, M5 Pro and M5 Max replace earlier Pro chips, more speed, better efficiency. Totally believable as long-term roadmap. But ask yourself, does it make sense for Apple to reveal a new low-cost A18 Pro MacBook, a new M5 MacBook Air, new M5 Pro Max MacBook Pros, and brand new Mac displays at the same time, at an event being branded as an experience rather than a classic keynote? That's a lot of high-end Mac news for one morning, and it risks overshadowing everything else. Apple usually likes to give MacBook Air and MacBook Pro their own clear spotlight, cramming all of that into March 4th alongside iPads, iPhones, and Siri AI updates feels more like a leaker's wish list than Apple's actual control playbook. So a more realistic expectation, you might see one or two Mac-related announcements at this March 4th event, maybe a new MacBook Air or a display refresh. But don't be shocked if some of the most hyped Mac leaks slip to a later date. Now let's talk about the iPhone 17es, because this is another rumor that people are taking as a guarantee. The leak claims Apple is working on an iPhone 17e, presumably a more affordable iPhone model. And the speculation is that it could be part of the March 4th announcements.